Carl and Brendan here from Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it's one must go. As always, I pulled out a load of random what ifs. What if you had to choose between these two specific things? What would you choose that you would effectively keep? And in this one, we're doing iconic tracks that are considered icons of certain bands, putting them up against each other to see effectively, I guess, which one you prefer, but basically which one you'd get rid of and the reasons behind it. So there are 40 tracks overall, but 20 ones to go through. I'm going to do it with you.
Okay.
Yeah, you've seen these videos before, you know how this goes. Right, we're kicking off then with a choice between these two tracks. Iron Maiden's Hallowed Be Thy Name or Black Sabbath's War Pigs. So which one would you keep? Which one would you get rid of?
War Pigs.
Really? That's straightforward.
I really love both of those tracks, but War Pigs is my favorite Sabbath song, so it's really easy. Like, I think Hallowed Be Thy Name is also a fantastic track, but like, it's War Pigs, man.
Yeah, that's kind of how I leans towards me. Well, it's not my favorite Sabbath song by any stretch of the imagination. I purposely wanted to put it against an Iron Maiden song that I was confident I knew Brendan liked as much as I did. It's up there as one of my favorite Maiden tracks.
Yep.
But I'd be hard pressed to ever really kick any Sabbath track out of it, you know, particularly off that album. So it's kind of War Pigs for me too.
Yay.
I feel like this one might be straightforward as well, even though it's quite two iconic tracks. Metallica's Master of Puppets or Slayer's Raining Blood?
I'll keep Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
Couldn't have Stranger Things without it, would you?
I'm
joking. I'm joking.
No, I haven't watched it yet. I still haven't seen it. So it's like I took one look at 2.5 hours and went, nope, not doing that yet. But I know, I'm aware. I can't really move.
You can't not be aware in it.
Yeah.
But it's quite funny. I was reading like a sort of a joke spoof article about it the other day about like how all these youngsters these days will be hearing this sort of song for the first time and just be like, oh, who's this? Like this new band that Stranger Things are giving a go to or something like that, you know. But look, Master of Puppets is fucking, you know. It's one of those weird things. It's like I'm reluctant. I was going to say it's my favorite Metallica track, and I was like, oh, I don't know, that, you know, it's a massive catalog. It changes a lot, but it's one of the best heavy metal songs ever written. Yes. And I know Rain in Blood is as well. Don't get me wrong; they are two different styles. But for my personal taste, as much as I enjoy Slayer, but in particular Rain in Blood, you know, I couldn't get rid of Master of Puppets, man.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you said there, it's the same for me. It's Master of Puppets. Easy one, really. Next one might be a bit difficult because we're talking about two heavily overplayed tracks, but also two of arguably the most iconic tracks from these bands. Motorhead's Ace of Spades or Judas Priest's Breaking the Law?
It is difficult for that reason, because I guess, well, no, actually 100% definitely. If I was listening to Priest or I was listening to Motorhead, I actually quite often would skip both songs because they're, you know, there's just much better songs in their catalogs anyway. Despite the fact that they're both iconic. Out of the two, I guess the one I'd probably keep is Breaking the Law. I think it's less overplayed than Ace of Spades, basically.
We're different.
I knew Ace of Spades long before I listened to like anything rock and metal, man. Like I'd already heard Ace of Spades, whereas like you kind of had to get into metal a bit before I started hearing Priest, you know.
Yeah, I think you're probably right in that. Ace of Spades seemed to be more commercial, at least from my perspective as well. But that's the one I would choose to keep purely because Judas Priest, I could rattle off 50 tracks that are better. And it's like, well, I could lose Breaking the Law and keep all the other ones. No problem. Whereas Motorhead's Ace of Spades, it's lesser. I've got less favorite Motorhead tracks that Ace of Spades fits nicely amongst them. These two I struggle to put in places. So it's a bit random. Megadeth, Holy War's The Punishment Due or Pantera's Walk?
It's tougher than it seems.
It is a bit, purely because you almost want to naturally sort of be like, oh, Walk's overplayed, so that's got to go and all that. But I'm going to choose Holy War's The Punishment Due purely because it is one of Megadeth's best tunes. So that one sticks for me.
Yeah, it's a problem, man. Like I don't know. Sometimes I think I overthink all of these things as well. You know, I think that's my thing, overthinking. But like, cause I can tell you, the stream of thoughts that are going through my head right now is like when you said Pantera, and I was like, there's like, I don't know, man, maybe like 10, maybe 15 tracks that if you would have said are instant Pantera.
Yep.
You know, like pretty much anything from Trendkill or like, Far Beyond Driven and like, well, lots and lots of songs, even off of A Vulgar Display of Power. But you said Walk. But like, when Walk come out, before now, like, when we go back, like, whatever, I don't even know how long ago it was now, like 25 years ago or something like that. And I first heard Walk, like, that was the shit to me.
Yeah, no question.
Like absolutely fucking loved it. I just don't listen to it now because of that whole overplayed thing.
Yeah.
But then the other side of me is like, but what if you'd never heard Walk? And then I'm like, oh no, if I take it away, I never hear Walk, I never listen to Vulgar Display of Power, I never listen to Tranquil, I never listen to any of it. I don't listen to Down, I don't listen to Super Joint Ritual.
That's quite a journey from one song.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I'm saying. I'm overthinking this a little bit. I think if we're going just on the quality of the two songs overall, when I take away all of the bullshit, then I'd probably agree that to keep the Megadeth track, Holy Wars. I think that's the better song out of those two.
Yeah.
But if you'd have put it up against a lot of other Pantera songs, man, I think I would have gone. It would have been even tougher. Or it would have been easier. Sorry.
Well, who's to say they might reappear? Certain bands might reappear with a different track further down the line when it's a bit more easy to put them against each other. Okay, Dio's Holy Diver or Diamond Head's Am I Evil?
I would keep Holy Diver.
Yeah.
That's quite an easy one for me. I like Am I Evil enough. I've heard Am I Evil in Metallica's cover of it way more times than I've heard Diamond Head's, to be honest with you anyway. But obviously, I know the song immensely. But Holy Diver is brilliant. It's a brilliant song.
Agreed. Yep, Dio Holy Diver for me, just a far superior track. It's as simple as that. Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle, or Van Halen's Running with the Devil.
I think I keep Van Halen.
Yeah, okay.
I think for me, this is like the minute it's that whole thing again. I was like, oh, which one's he gonna say? Which one's he gonna say when you say Guns N' Roses? I think if you say Paradise City, Sweet Child of Mine, or Welcome to the Jungle, like I kind of get like a sort of sad, deflated shiver down my spine of like oh come on, man. I don't want to listen. I've got no time for those songs anymore. I used to love them a little bit when I was younger. I enjoyed them. I don't think I ever loved Appetite for Destruction anyway, in many ways, but I enjoyed it. But so out of the two, I'll keep the Van Halen one.
I'm also leaning towards Van Halen on this one purely because I think Running with the Devil is a really, really not underrated because it is rated highly, but like of that particular era of Van Halen, it's really smart, really clever, got a nice bit of groove and all that. I think Guns N' Roses Welcome to the Jungle is a little bit more party rock and it's got less appeal these days than it did perhaps when I heard it when I was younger, whereas Van Halen and Running with the Devil is a band I've got into more when I was older. So that's where that appreciation comes from.
You make it really easy for yourself. Just in your head, do the knees, and then be like, yeah, I'll get rid of that.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, Whitesnake, Here I Go Again, or Kiss, Crazy Crazy Nights. Both banging tunes.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I think if I wanted to, the one I'd keep out of the two of them, I think, is probably Crazy Crazy Nights.
Okay.
I think I like both songs. I do. Here I Go Again is, I mean, they're both obviously of an era. That's the thing. It's not like either of these are modern songs, but I think Crazy Crazy Nights is I don't know. I feel like it's got a bit more like energy to it. It's a bit more of a kind of like stadium kind of anthem. Like I think I'd still enjoy that. Like wherever it was. If I was drunk it's unlikely to be the case, but if I was drunk doing a silent disco or something like that and that came on, I'd probably still enjoy it. Or if I was at a pub and it came on, where like I'd probably like if I'm in the right state of inebriation, I reckon I'd still get up and have a bit of a laugh and a jump around to Crazy Crazy Nights. I don't think I'd do that to Here I Go Again. I think I'd be more like we kind of go, Whitesnake, they got better songs, and then carry on.
Interesting. I mean, no, you're absolutely right, because I immediately, as you're talking, I'm sort of singing the Crazy Crazy Nights chorus, and that's an anthemic chorus. But I'm going to choose Whitesnake's Here I Go Again, but with a caveat. And it's a simple caveat, and it's this. It has to be the album version, not the single edit, the radio edit, because the radio edit removes the lengthier introduction. And the introduction to that song is something I particularly love. So as long as it's the album version, that would be my choice.
Right.
Okay, I think this one might be simple enough because I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to choose. Sepultura's Roots, Bloody Roots, or Slipknot's Wait and Bleed. I've chosen both because of the more chaotic angle for both tracks.
Yeah, in a way, it's kind of strange actually, because I guess out of both albums that both of those songs are in, they're probably the two least chaotic songs on those albums.
Of What's Elsewhere, yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? Like, if you think of like Slipknot's self-titled, like Wait and Bleed was like the almost, no, it wasn't, but like, you know, almost became like the mainstreamy kind of one, like, didn't it? Like, in a way.
Oh,
you know, like
yeah, alongside like Spit It Out, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was never commercial sounding, as in like, oh, look, Slipknot done a pop song, but it was cleaner than after coming after like Sick and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, I always think Sick, yeah.
And it is a truly cracking song. I will choose though Roots is my choice. I love that song. I love that album. That album is a phenomenal piece of like my youth, like genuinely. That intro bit to the song Roots, Bloody Roots. The memory of when that was the point when that very first section of the very first song during the Roots of Sepultura tour, when we was all like, oh, it's going to be fun, but yeah, I'm not really feeling the pit or anything like that. I don't know how many seconds it took from that intro when we was like, fuck this, getting straight in there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if it come on now, I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, that's great. Weirdly enough, like, I guess a point in time, both of those songs probably also came in the overplayed category, but I don't really see Roots that way, to be honest with you, even though it got a lot of MTV time and, you know, back in those days, to the point where I was just kind of thinking there, like, I haven't actually heard Roots for ages. I might stick that on. Whereas Wait and Bleed, I don't think, you know, like, not that I dislike the song, because I don't. It's a really strong song. But actually, if I was like, oh, I'm going to put a song on from the debut, I don't think that would be the one I'd even go for. Like, do you know what I mean? I think there's much better songs on the on Slipknot self-titled album. But yeah, sorry anyway, but Roots, Bloody Roots for me.
No, I agree. You've actually kind of just literally touched upon the exact reason why I would choose Roots, Bloody Roots as well. And it's is that I wouldn't get excited about hearing Wait and Bleed right now. Like, I'd get into it and enjoy it, but if we put Roots, Bloody Roots on, I like, again, you're talking and the song's playing in my head and I'm hearing that extended Max roar when he's going off at the beginning of the Roots, Bloody, and he drags it out and I'm hearing it, you know, like, so for me, it's weird, as you say, it should be in the overplayed category, but it doesn't seem to happen. No,
it's a classic.
Okay, Scorpions, Rock You Like a Hurricane, or Skid Row's I Remember You.
Dude, stop doing that. I was like, oh, Rock You Like a Hurricane. God, I don't hate. In my head, I was like, oh, I hate that song, but I don't hate that song.
No, you can't hate that song.
Nah, but then you said Skid Row, and I was like, well, this could be easy. He's gonna say like Waste of Time or something like that. It'd be just instant Skid Row. But out of all the Skid Row songs, I don't really want to listen to much ever again. I Remember You would be one of them because while it's beautiful, sung lovely, and all that, it is soppy as fuck, man. Like, it really is. Like, it's too much. Like, you know, this is like Barbie princess sort of level of like mush sort of stuff I was watching in My Little Pony the movie. You know, which is a good movie, by the way. But anyway, moving on. I'll keep Rock You Like a Hurricane out of the two. I think out of the two of them, I'd probably it would be pushing it, but I think out of the two, it'd be the one I'd get less frustrated listening to today if somebody played it.
Oh, so that's really good, because I thought it was really difficult too. And I lean towards Skid Row because of Sebastian Bach's voice, and it is. But you are right. It's not just about being how sugary it is. It's so overtly melodramatic that it gets borderline sickening. And that's kind of the reason I can't remember the last time I heard I Remember You, and I'd like to keep it that way. But I find Rock You Like a Hurricane so bland, to the point where I'm like, that's an anthem? Really, people? But then I picture and I sit there and I think, right, if you're at, say, a pub or a club, which one comes on? Which one are you going to be happier hearing? And the truth is,
It's gonna bring the mood down if I Remember You gets played, isn't it?
It's that, and you know there's going to be some knob there who thinks they can sing and starts trying to sing along with it, and it's going to sound terrible. At least with Rock You Like a Hurricane, you get more of a group sing thing with that. So yeah, by virtue of the fact that Skid Row's I Remember You is just too fucking much, there you go, Scorpions, you get that win as well. Okay, repeats. Here come some of them. Guns N' Roses, Civil War, or Pantera's Cemetery Gates. You saw that one coming, right?
It's really tough, man. This is really tough.
Yeah.
Because I know what I want to say, but I don't know why, I feel almost like, I don't know, like I'm going to be booted out of the metal community. But it is the truth. Civil War is one of my favorite songs of all time. Not just one of my favorite Guns N' Roses. Well, actually, probably is my favorite Guns N' Roses song. I think. Yeah, no, I think it definitely is. But it's also just one of my favorite songs of all time. I have it on a playlist on my phone of like a collection of songs that I keep grouped together, so I can just always get back to them easy.
Yep.
And this is the only Guns N' Roses song in it. I love Cemetery Gates. It's a fantastic song. Great solos, great everything like that. Lots of great memories from it as well. But out of the two, the one I always go back to, and I still do regularly, like almost, like I wouldn't say like weekly or anything like that, but like, there's regular points throughout the year where I'm like, oh, stick Civil War.
Yep.
So I'm going to keep Civil War.
Yeah, I echo a lot what you said there. It's up there. I struggled. I almost want to agree with it. It probably is my favorite Guns N' Roses track, but I've also got so much love for Patience that I always sort of struggle to jump between the two of them. Whereas Pantera Cemetery Gates, while I tend to do more in the childhood impact more than anything else and just being blown away by what that track could do. If you were to ask me now to rank your top 10 Pantera songs, I'm probably unlikely to put Cemetery Gates in that 10, or if it isn't a 10, it's going to be right at the bottom end of it. Whereas if you ask me to do 10 of Guns N' Roses, Civil War is number 1, if not number 2. So
yeah, and almost like instantly as well. That's the thing, isn't it? Like you said with Cemetery Gates, I'd have to, like, if I had to do a top 10 of Pantera, like, I also don't think it would be in mine. I don't think anymore. Whereas like 10, well, longer than that, maybe 15, 20 years ago, it probably would have been in the top 3 or 4. Whereas like when you say Guns N' Roses, somebody says to me, what's your favorite Guns N' Roses tracks? So name your top 3. I will instantly say Civil War, and then I have to think about the other 2. So yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, I think this one might be easy as well. It's Metallica's Creeping Death against Iron Maiden's Aces High. So 2 anthems of 2 different bands.
Yeah, 2 anthems. For me, it is relatively straightforward again. I'd keep Creeping Death.
Yeah.
The Aces High is also a very, very good song. Creeping Death is one of Metallica's greatest songs, one of their greatest live songs. It's iconic. It's brilliant. Yeah, so I wouldn't swap it for anything.
Yeah, I almost kind of want to be a bit dismissive of Creeping Death after hearing it for so long. But then in my head, I remember the down, and then it's like, there you go. That's me done. That's it. Yep. Cold gold, of course, Creeping Death. All right, Anthrax, I Am the Law, or Motley Crue's Kickstart My Heart.
Jesus Christ. I don't have a lot of time for either song, to be honest with you. So I'm going to pick purely based on the band I have less disdain for, which I think is reasonable. So I will keep Anthrax. I got no time for Motley Crue, man. No time. So
it will sound like a broken record if we go in a Motley Crue, just like we both have. I'm doing this based off not so much the same thing as you, disdain, because I like Anthrax. I don't care for Motley Crue, but more the fact that I've seen Anthrax live and I've seen I Am the Law live, and it's a fun track. So yeah, that one for me. Yeah, simple as that.
I don't, just so clarify before I get stoned or anything, I don't have, the disdain isn't for Anthrax. I like Anthrax as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, no problem with that. It's the 2 tracks. I don't like that Anthrax song. I don't like an awful lot of Anthrax songs, but I don't dislike Anthrax in the way that I dislike Motley Crue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've said this before, but just to reiterate the people, when people say to us the big 4 of thrash, I always kind of go, not Anthrax, Testament. That's the big 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Twisted Sisters, We're Not Gonna Take It or Faith No More's Epic?
I think I'd keep Epic. Obviously, both bands are great. I just think out of the Twisted Sister songs, like I do like We're Not Gonna Take It. Well, that's the thing. I don't even have like any negative feelings around it, like about overplayed or anything like that. It's still a good song. But Epic is pretty like epic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the reasoning is completely solid, but I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go for Twisted Sister, because while it is an overplayed track, it's also my first introduction to Dee Snider, who I have so much love for that it's almost impossible for me to think anything negative possible. And after hearing the song for so many times growing up and hearing it and thinking, oh, it's just a radio play song for the masses, as it were, I ended up re-listening to it and really listening to it and finding so many things I loved in it that I felt like people didn't mention. Like, for example, in the second verse, he adds an extra bit of snarl to his vocals when he says the word condescending. I love that so much that it sticks with me unbelievably. Faith No More's Epic, while I do adore, again, we go back to something we said a little while ago. Ask me to run down my top 10 Faith No More tracks. I don't know if Epic's in there anymore. I just don't know if it is.
Yeah, I think that's the difference why I chose it, because I think it would be for me. I think it would be in there. I don't think it would be in the top 5, but it'd be in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd be surprised if it was in the top 5. Okay, this two really hard to find bands to go up against each other, so I've done it this way. I've gone for Blind Guardian, and I couldn't choose. Well, I have chosen the great song. We're talking about Imaginations from the Other Side, the actual song, or Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun, which is a great song too.
It is, yeah. It's a great song by a great singer.
Right.
But Blind Guardian.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, more out of it, man.
I mean,
like, look, the only thing I was never a fan of Soundgarden, right? That's straight up. But I am a huge fan of Chris Cornell. However, if I want to hear Chris Cornell singing, I don't normally go back towards Soundgarden an awful lot. Interesting enough, I listen to a lot of his solo stuff. I might listen to him on Audio Slave, listen to him in many places, but very rarely do I go back towards Soundgarden, because I've just never really got the band, never really enjoyed it. Whereas I can listen to Blind Guardian day in, day out, that song, other songs, whatever it is, and always enjoy it, always want to sing along, always. And they're also two phenomenal singers. That's the great thing about it.
Yeah.
It's not Chris Cornell, it's not something I can do on Chris Cornell's the better singer, because Hansy's also a fucking phenomenal singer. So, I'm going to get more enjoyment out of the Imagination from the Other Side for sure.
Yeah, this is a complete and utter no analysis needed. It's a personal choice. It's also Blind Guardian for me. Okay, this might be might be up there as one of the hardest of the lot. It's almost unfair. It's Machine Head with Halo against Fear Factory with Resurrection.
Yeah, that's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, no, right. Now, for those who are wondering why we consider that tough, as you've seen videos before, you should note that both me and Brendan think Resurrection is arguably one of the best Fear Factory songs ever. And obviously Halo is Halo.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, it's very tough. But I don't really want to lose. I wouldn't really want to lose either track. That's the truth of it. Yeah. If I had to lose one out of the two, how am I going to judge this? This is really difficult. In my head, I'm like, I have two voices, each one's shouting out the different song, one after the other. It's not helping at all. I think I'm going to keep Halo. And that's probably done purely off the fact that when I look back at everything as an overall package across the whole of everything, Machine Head have had a larger impact. And I'm remembering back to when like Halo first came out and stuff like that. I know I probably had those feelings for Resurrection too. That's the thing, but it was also a lot longer ago.
Yep.
So it's faded a little bit more, I think. And also, I guess the only other aspect of it is that I have never seen, as far as I'm aware, and I will never see Resurrection played live, but I have seen Halo many times, and it's fucking epic. Oh God! So I can judge it based on that too.
Yeah.
Is there any point in me keeping a song I'm never going to see?
Bollocks that we would get to manufacture whatever 25th anniversary tour, but we will never get the obsolete one. I agree. I'm also going to keep Halo, and this is more because I don't think Machine Head will ever arguably write a better song. I think that is the greatest Machine Head song they've ever written. Whether it's your favorite or not, it's not my favorite Machine Head song, but I recognize the quality of the writing. And as much as I love Resurrection, I also think Fear Factory have written songs as good as, or at least close to as quality of Resurrection around that. So it's kind of like Unobsolete has some great songs as well, not necessarily the faster ones, but like you can put Descent alongside that as a song that's kind of got that feel and vibe to it. So for me, the fact that Halo it should go down in history as one of the greatest heavy metal tracks ever. Yeah. That's that. Yeah, you know. Yeah. Skid Row, Slave to the Grind, or Van Halen's Panama? Panama.
I don't know Van Halen anywhere near as well as you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth. So like when you say Panama to me, in my head, I'm trying to like pick it up, but I don't even know if I know it. So it's quite straightforward for me.
The chorus, Panama. Dun, 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 dun. You would. I'm not going to sing. You'd know if you played it. You would.
Can I sing it again?
No. I am not.
Keep going. Do the whole song.
I'm not Dave Lee Roth, am I? Do you know what I mean?
But anyway, so like back on the Skid Row side of things, because I do love Skid Row. I do, or I loved Skid Row, I guess is the right term.
Yeah.
And I love the song Slave to the Grind. I think it's an absolute rocking, banging track, and a phenomenal album as well. So I am going to keep Slave to the Grind.
Well, I'm going to go the opposite. While I don't have the same love of Skid Row as you do, my obsession with Van Halen, while has weathered in the last couple of years, about 10 years ago was fucking hyper. They featured, I think, twice within all the important songs at my wedding. Like that's kind of like my love for Van Halen, even though it's a love of both versions of Van Halen as well. Take bits of both, put them together, you've got my perfect Van Halen. This is, of course, the Roth era, and Panama is just a banger. It's just pure, catchy, summery energy. I love that for it. Okay, this might be the hardest one. It's Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody or David Bowie's Life on Mars.
You know, it's tough, but you know why it's tough? Because they're neither bands, like, but by a long shot, best song.
But it's the two. I'm going for hits here, and these are two of these artists' biggest hits, if not their biggest.
The one I would keep, I believe, and this possibly would be a wrong answer, I think, in the general consensus of everything, would be Life on Mars by David Bowie. You know, I'm doing that purely off the basis of like, I think they're both phenomenal songs, right? I really do. They're classic rock songs. Queen's is so well known, so popular. These days probably wouldn't go down as overplayed, but it certainly was at a point in time. I don't think like, and who knows, man? It's probably still like a wedding song and all that sort of stuff, like Bohemian Rhapsody. You know, I can imagine it being stuck on after Dancing Queen for the shit disco at the end of a wedding or something like that. Whereas Life on Mars is probably not. But I think I'm just doing it based on if somebody said, right, Brendan, you got to sit there for 5 minutes on hold or something, and there's two songs on the headset you can listen to. You can either listen to Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen or you can listen to Life on Mars by Bowie while you're waiting. I would choose to listen to Life on Mars by Bowie. So yeah, based on that really random call center analogy, that's what I'm going with.
It's not an unfair analogy because I kind of do a similar thing with this, and I did it on the basis of put me in amongst a group of people in a pub and both tracks come on. Who the fuck is going to drive me nuts more? And ultimately, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I do not want to be around a crowd of people that are trying to do Bohemian Rhapsody, because you know they fucking will. You know they will. Even if it's not the whole song, they're going to get to the part where it's Galileo, and they're going to start doing that. And
the worst bit. If you're in a cab, if you're in a cab with somebody going somewhere, and then it gets to the headbanging bit from is it Wayne's World?
Wayne's World, yeah.
Wayne's World. Oh,
whereas I feel like if Life on Mars came on, no one really tries to sing along with it because you do that, you get quite notably noticed because it is obviously quite a vocally isolated track. You're hearing Bowie's vocals. But there's another reason. So when I did this list, I realized I hadn't listened to Life on Mars probably like on purpose for a very, very long time. And I thought, okay, Brendan's recently, thanks to other videos, kind of give me a reappreciation. Let me put it on and let me see with what I thought would be different would be a reviewer's head that I never obviously did back in the day and analyze this track and pretend you're writing a couple of lines as if it's a single slam. And I because of that, and I loved it. I loved it more now than I ever did before. I loved a lot of the nuances. I love a lot of that stuff aspects. So for me, that's why it's Life on Mars. Both are overplayed. Both have been used in contexts that I wish they weren't. You know, I'm sure Life on Mars has appeared in like car adverts and shit like that.
Yeah, and also I think I might be wrong on this, but isn't there actually a TV show called Life on Mars too that uses it as its like intro outro sort of music as well? It's like a detective show or something like that.
Oh, was that like a really old one? Like
yeah, it's quite old. Yeah, or it's like a Brit one. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like a big fucking American A-lister sort of one.
No, I think
yeah, you're right. You're right. Both have been plenty heavily used.
Yeah,
yeah. Life on Mars is yeah, it's a phenomenal track. It really does. Like it's a very good one for like a non-David Bowie person to check out David Bowie, because like you said, he's very isolated on it. It is about the singer, and it's about the little nuances in his voice, a little quiet. So it's also got a nice little solo and stuff like that. But yeah, so yeah, I'm glad you like listened to it and checked it out, and like that kind of, I don't know, aged head now or whatever it is, like kind of giving you new appreciation of some stuff, you know.
It changes things. It really, really does. Okay. I don't know if that applies to these tracks though, because Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me or Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing.
Well, I keep Def Leppard's. I could happily never listen to Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing again ever for the rest of my life, and I won't miss it. I'd also quite happily not listen to the Def Leppard track again for the rest of my life, because you know, you talk about that sort of sickly sort of track, like it, but it's not sickly as in like it's cutie. That's the thing about it. It's still like a bit more energetic, a bit more party anthem kind of, I guess. Whereas I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, you know, like, oh my lord, do you have no idea like how many times I've heard someone sing this on karaoke?
Yeah,
how many times I've heard it butchered by people, and obviously popularity kind of. But it was written for the movie. What movie was it? Was it Lost in Space or something like that?
No, it was Armageddon.
Armageddon, that's it. Yeah, you know, which obviously it was written for that movie. But yeah, like I'm not a massive fan of Aerosmith anyway. But that's not even the thing with this. It's just that track. There are other Aerosmith songs I think I would have chosen over Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yep.
But I think also if you would have put I Don't Want to Miss the Thing up against Madonna, I may have gone with Madonna to keep. You know, so I really don't want to hear that track ever again.
Oh, 100% fucking do I agree. I despise the song. And this isn't an overplayed thing. I've despised this song from day one because it was so fucking forced and fake. It's the piss poor fake melodrama that does nothing for me. And it's not about inheritance like Aerosmith. Again, Brendan, you said it. There are so many better tracks there. But I also feel very strongly that about Def Leppard, that I don't really care for Def Leppard. They're one of those bands I generally feel just came at the right time, and they would never have risen to the size they did had they come out a couple of years later or a couple of years before. It was just the right time, right place for them. However, Pour Some Sugar on Me, it's faster, it's peppier, it's got an anthemic chorus, it's shorter. That's why it stays. It's that.
It's shorter.
Yeah, it's not going to drive me as nuts as long. Two left then. Okay, back to Sabbath. With arguably one of their best songs ever. It's Planet Caravan. Or Slayer's Seasons in the Abyss, which is a great Slayer song.
Yeah, it is.
But I kind of gave the game away, I think, already by saying what I said about Sabbath.
I'm trying to think if there's a way I can cheat the system and keep both, right? Because if I go for Slayer, I still get Pantera's version of Planet Caravan. Or do I not get that? Because if the original never existed, then that cover could never have been done, right?
That's it. You're right, of course.
So
Can't
we're doing
exist.
like fucking multiverse shit here now, aren't we?
Yeah, it's just it's erased from time, innit? So yeah, it just doesn't
Yeah, I
exist.
fucked with the timeline. So by getting rid of Black Sabbath, I get rid of two brilliant versions of the same track.
Mhm.
Because they are both solid. Oh, obviously Pantera do a very good cover of it as well. But yeah, I think I'll keep Sabbath. I think I'll keep Sabbath. I think you're going to as well anyway. But it's straightforward enough. I think I prefer to listen to it over Season of the Abyss. So
Yes, I've got a lot of love for Seasons in the Abyss because it's one of my earliest memories of seeing a Slayer video, which is that black and white one with the pyramids and all that. So that track's always kind of stuck in my head. And whereas like a song like Planet Caravan by Sabbath, I'm very sure I didn't come to quite late in my life. And yeah, I've just got a ton of appreciation for it. I think it's one of Sabbath's best ever tracks. Really, really is.
yeah, same for me. I didn't instantly like it. I don't instantly remember liking it.
Mm-hmm.
But I fell in love with it after the Pantera cover. And that's the weird thing about it. I listened to the cover. I love the cover so much. I was like, oh, I'll go back and give the original a proper crack, and then appreciated it.
No, I think that would have worked. Like that's worked for no doubt countless people over the years, hearing a cover and then going to discover the original and then liking the original so much as well. That's the cool fucking thing. I guess that's a purpose of covers to a degree, which is to give that appreciation to the artist and hope you then look into it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
One more, and it's grungy, in the grunge territory for this one. So it's Nirvana's Heart-Shaped Box or Alice in Chains' Rooster.
Oh, Heart-Shaped Box. Fuck Alice in Chains. No, I'm joking. I don't. No, I'm not a fan of Alice in Chains. I don't really genuinely mean to fuck Alice in Chains. I'm just not a big fan. I was at one point in my life a big Nirvana fan. I was never a big grunge fan, but it was that whole thing. Friends, I listened to metal, they listened to indie. Nirvana sat in this band circular, like this kind of we Venn diagram. They sat in the middle section of it, so we listened to a lot of Nirvana. And I think if you would have put like anything from say like Nevermind potentially in there, I would have probably not gone with it. But Heart-Shaped Box, Lake of Fire, a couple other ones like that are massive memories and brilliant songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, Heart-Shaped Box.
Yeah, of course, we did track by track for in utero on Nirvana. You can get a deeper dive into our opinion on that album as well on the channel. But I'm going to go for Alice in Chains' Rooster here. As much, to defend my wife's love for it, but also Rooster happens to be an absolute banging track in Alice in Chains' early catalogue. It's something I can really, really enjoy amongst a band that I just don't really like that much, if I'm honest. But Rooster's a great track, and a song like Heart-Shaped Box, while it is a very good Nirvana song, it's Nirvana. I tend to try and avoid listening to them if I can help it, because I'd rather just appreciate from afar than listen and go, I just don't like this. There's the 20. There's the 20 tracks randomly chosen. But if you've got any thoughts and you've got any opinions on what we've said here, you know what to do. Drop it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal, what else is life for?